Hi, my name's Thor. I'm alcoholic. Howdy, y'all. Can you hear me, Sean?
Loud and clear.
Awesome. That's the one thing about these Zoom meetings is I'm never sure that anybody can hear what the fuck I'm saying. Great to be here. Great to see so many people I'm just digging it, man. Everybody's from all over the place. Lots of newcomers. We got 95 fucking people. Wow. And I'm going to be on YouTube. What? That's weird. So I was, as I was listening to you run the meeting, I was just realizing how this whole Zoom thing is blowing my mind. It's, I was telling my girlfriend who's in the been sober a long time also, like this is not going away. This is the evolution of Alcoholics Anonymous in its ability to reach people with Zoom, right? I mean, in the beginning, the grapevine, served that purpose. But this is the next level, and I think it's awesome. There's been a lot of it's been a difficult transition, right? Obviously, for those of us who got sober before Zoom, right? I mean, I know a lot of people who still aren't with it. They're not digging the Zoom meetings anyway. I've been on and off, but I'm really glad to be here. From New York. I live in Oakland, California. I'm 53. I've been sober 22 years. I got sober as a teenager. I started coming to meetings in the early 80s, actually. And it took me, took nearly 15 years to get sober, essentially. Third time's the charm, I say. I've got, this is my third long period of sobriety. And it takes what it takes, getting sober young is awesome. It's also fraught with challenges. I mean, getting sober is always fraught with challenges, right? Doesn't matter how old you are, there are challenges. But what I found was, as a sober teenager, a lot changes very quickly. And after a few years, and which meant a lot of growth in all areas, right? Physically, mentally, emotionally, and now spiritually, because I had no spiritual awareness previously. But after almost 3 years of sobriety in my teens, I got loaded again, because I felt like, why not? I mean, I had actually kind of done a classic drift away from the program, but I tried it again, and relapse for me lasts a good 3 years. And it's a hard 3 years usually. And I got sober again at 21, essentially, in New York City, and stayed sober into my late 20s, 27 actually. And then I did kind of a weird, I walked right out of a fucking meeting and got loaded. What happened there? I became convinced that I could actually find a deeper spirituality through psychedelics, and so off I went again. And again, I've been sober a good long time, it felt, and alcoholics drink, right? So that's what I did. And then another hard 3 years and a prison term later, I got sober again in 98 at the age of 31. And I've been sober ever since. And I do feel like I got it out of my system. Maybe it was prison. Maybe it was the fact that I'd already burned 15 years of my life since my first AA meeting. But it takes what it takes. And it's it's been a wild ride ever since, I have to say. My favorite, one of my favorite phrases is more will be revealed. And that's just the way it is. If you stay sober and stay alive, if you don't drink and you don't die, more will be revealed. That's been my experience. I like the title of this meeting, The Fifth Dimension. I'm actually, while I reject most orthodox religious views on God, I have to admit to myself and you all that my own beliefs are, when examined, my own beliefs are just as cuckoo and far out as any religion, right? It really, I mean, that's the truth when I think about it. So, but the fifth dimension, I'm like, I love psychedelics. So obviously I'm all about being rocketed into another dimension. Let's do it, and can I live there? That's, my problem is that I want to live there. And, I have to tell you that I'm not, I don't spend any time really considering psychedelics as a means to spirituality in any real sense, because I'm convinced that that all the spirituality I need is right here somewhere. Somewhere right here, and here meaning in these rooms and in this state of consciousness that I'm in right now. I like an altered state of consciousness. That was once I discovered that as a young kid, a different state of consciousness, that's where I wanted to live. But it turns out, again, things run their course, and you realize, well, I have a choice. It's like, do I want to live outside the prison walls? Do I want to live outside of mental institutions? Do I want to live in this plane of reality? And my answer today is I do. I want to live here. And I'm not suicidal either. And that's great because, frankly, like, there isn't a lot of time left. Suicidal, fuck, I'm trying to make it to the end, And I guess age gives you that perspective too. Once you crest 50, it's all downhill, and you're like, well, fuck it, I'm gonna see how this plays out, because it does. It accelerates. Time goes faster and faster, and so what I'm trying to focus on or work on, if you will, today is I'm just still, the whole process has been like 3 steps forward, 2 steps backward, so it seems. But I'm convinced that a lot of what ails me isn't necessarily purely alcoholic. When I look at, and I am drawn to all of the classic ancient teachings of, spiritual teachings, name your spiritual icon. They're all talking about they're talking about the same stuff. It's very similar stuff, and it has to do with it has to do with being comfortable in your own skin, and well, how do I summarize thousands of years of ancient wisdom? Well, the thing is that I think that the spiritual principles of this program are essentially talking about the same things. And what I think we as alcoholics are experiencing is that as an alcoholic, I just have things that talks about, instincts gone awry in literature. And so it's like I suffer from the same existential angst as non-alcoholics. It's just more intense. It's just turned up a lot. And so when I get sober, then guess what? Now I'm back to where the rest of the fucking world is anyway, which is, coping with reality, and everything that brings with it. So I get a lot of help and comfort looking at, exploring all these different disciplines and spiritual teachings and stuff and gurus. The internet is, YouTube is fantastic for finding a new guru. Virtually every week you can find somebody new and tune in and hear what they have to say and decide if it's bullshit or if you like it or whatever. So I'm really grooving on that. And then each day, week, I come back here to these rooms and I apply and contrast, what I learned here with these other viewpoints on spirituality. Because let's face it, that's the big leap for me is and was, a solid belief and concept of a higher power. Because let's face it, what you're asking me to do is to believe in the non-physical. You're asking me to believe in a non-physical reality. And that doesn't always wash for me, right? So I'm very much about trying to figure that out. Unfortunately, this program will keep you sober no matter what the hell you believe. That's also been my experience, and that's why I love it, and that's why I keep coming back. It's broad enough for everyone and for everything. But so the solution, that I think is what works for me and what I'm still trying to implement on a regular basis is to try it out, right? To just to try it on for size, to try it and see if it works. And and what I mean by that is, try some of these things, even though they do point to the existence of God or a non-physical reality, and see how they work. Praying for your enemies in the case of resentments, right? Like this actually works. And I can't explain how it works. And I don't know if it's connected to a non-physical reality or not. I just know that it actually does work. I've used it and it works. And so, I can choose to move through life with the belief that it's all completely fucking random. It doesn't matter if I'm a good person or a bad person. It doesn't matter if I believe in anything other than what I can hold and in my hand, etc. I can choose to move through the world in that manner and see what the results are, right? And I can also choose to move through the world in a different manner and see what those results are. And I got to tell you, the results are usually better when I move through the world with certain assumptions, which is that there is a non-physical reality, actually, and the results I get are typically better. This program is about action and results. I still struggle against a lot of it, even though I know it works. I can't think my way into right action. I have to act my way into right thinking. That's another example. And try it, try it. I'm really good at thinking on shit, really good at thinking on shit, but it often doesn't get me out of the chair even. I get stuck on stupid, and procrastination is still a huge character defect, if you will, or issue that I deal with. Step 6, we read the steps. I picked up on step 6 is still, a step. While it's not considered a maintenance step, that's really, I find that where the rubber meets the road, like that's becoming willing to let go of certain things, to let go of belief structures and behaviors that just do not serve me. And it really does appear that there are strange and unexplainable benefits of some kind that I get. I get something out of being unhappy and out of perpetuating procrastination and doing things that I don't want to do, or not doing things that I want to do. I'm getting something out of it. I really believe that like, if I wasn't getting something out of it, I wouldn't keep doing it, but that something it's not at a conscious level, and it doesn't make any sense. It's like people who continue to get into dysfunctional, violent, horrible relationships. The harsh reality is that those people, myself included, if that's the case, luckily that's not one of my things, but if they're getting something out of it, and until you figure out what you're getting out of it and deal with that, you're probably going to end up doing the same thing over and over and over again. It's following these patterns. It's identifying patterns and figuring out what's driving the pattern. That's key for me today, because I find that, oh my God, look, I'm another pattern. I've been doing the same fucking thing for 8 years. I've been doing this same thing this way and getting results I don't like. What the hell am I doing that for? Luckily, the good news is it never ends. It's never actually over. I was thinking about it, the fact that like in hundreds of years ago, when thousands of years ago, when they're building cathedrals, and huge structures, like generations would be born, work their entire lives, and die without even seeing the completion of the structure. That's mind-blowing. I come from a construction background. That just blows my mind that that 3 generations of people could work on a building and never see the completion of it. And I kind of feel like that's an accurate way to describe my life and spiritual work. It's like, I don't know if I'm ever going to see the end of it or any kind of completion, because it doesn't seem to actually end. There is no there. It's all journey all the time, and it becoming comfortable with that is one of the challenges, is to realizing that, because I'm old enough and sober enough now that like I've reached a lot of goals, and I've got all the fucking prizes, the cash and prizes, and then what? Like, there's just bigger and better cash and prizes. You realize quickly that like that ain't gonna cut it. Like, it doesn't matter how big the prizes are and how many there are. The result is the same. It's not, nothing outside of me is going to fix the inside of me. It just doesn't work. But again, until I try it, until you stay sober long enough to get all the shit you think you need that will make your life change, until you actually get it and taste it and play with it and break it, you realize, oh fuck, I spent all that money on it, just broke in 8 minutes, and it's just, now what? But the choice, the choices are, I don't have a lot of choices in terms of staying sober or not staying sober for me. I'm just a hopeless drunk who, you know, like when I'm not sober, here's my standard of living. Like, if you live indoors, you got it going on. Like I couldn't understand how anybody could manage to live indoors and drink, because I couldn't. Anyway, I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to be sober. Thanks for asking me, Sean.